Chosen one, the energy around you just flipped so sharply that it echoes the kind of massive and sudden turn of events where shadow players finally get exposed. You may not see it yet, but something behind the scenes has already broken open. The truth is rising, and what's been hidden in dark corners is about to be dragged into full illumination, and sudden means exactly that. No build-up, no warning. One moment you're walking through chaos, the next you're standing in clarity, while the very people who played in the shadows scramble to explain themselves. Your breakthrough is already in motion. You're not running anymore, you're not hiding anymore, you're not the one being chased. The dynamic is about to flip so hard it'll give you whiplash. Think about it like this: someone's chasing you with a weapon, close enough that you can hear footsteps behind you. You turn a corner, duck into what looks like a trap. Your pursuer thinks victory is certain, already celebrating, already smiling, but then you transform. Right there in that tight space, you become something nobody expected to face, a force that can't be handled, and suddenly your pursuer is the one running, that baseball bat being swung at your head. You're about to catch it, mid-swing, and now it's in your hands. Now the power belongs to you. Now your enemy is looking at you like, wait, this wasn't supposed to happen. And you're standing there thinking, yeah, I know, but here we are. You've been carrying something heavy for too long. That weight, that pressure. You tried to tell people what was happening to you. You tried to explain the attacks, the sabotage, the coordinated efforts, but nobody believed you. People looked at you like you were paranoid, like you were making things up, like you were the problem. Some people straight up told you that you were crazy, that you were tripping, that nothing like that was happening. Others minimized what you were going through, said it didn't sound that bad, told you to let it go, to move on, to stop being so sensitive, but you knew something was wrong. You felt it in your spirit. You sensed the darkness moving against you. And that created a special kind of torture, didn't it? Because you're telling the truth, but everyone's treating you like a liar. You're the victim, but everyone's acting like you're playing victim. So you start doubting yourself. Maybe everyone else is right. Maybe I am imagining it. Maybe I am paranoid. Maybe it really isn't that serious. And that doubt becomes another weapon used against you. Because now you're not just fighting external enemies, you're fighting your own mind. You weren't crazy. Your intuition was right. Your discernment was accurate. What you sensed happening in the darkness was real. The attacks were real. The coordination was real. The sabotage was real. And it's about to be proven, not by you, not because you finally found the right words, but because evidence is surfacing from sources you never expected. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. There's an officer, an authority figure, someone with power and credentials, and this person has a notepad, has evidence, has information, and when you see the expression on this face, you notice something. The anger isn't directed at you, it's directed at other people. People you're looking at thinking, I don't really know them like that, or maybe you do know them, but you never suspected any of this. What happened? How did this authority figure get involved? There was a camera, not necessarily a physical camera, but a recording device you didn't know existed, a spiritual documentation of everything done against you, every secret conversation, every hidden plot, every coordinated attack. It's all been recorded, and the footage is about to be reviewed. Codes are being cracked right now in your situation. Investigations are happening in realms you can't see. Things you thought you could never explain are explaining themselves. Things you thought would make you look crazy forever are being validated by sources nobody can dispute. And this massive turn of events has you looking like what you always were, the truthful one, the sane one, the one who saw clearly while everyone else was blind. Balance is coming back. The scales have been tipped against you for too long. You've been carrying weight that wasn't yours, fighting battles that weren't fair, but the scales are leveling out now. Divine forces are working on your behalf. Angels, the universe, the Most High, whatever you call it, there are powers intervening that see everything and miss nothing. Harmony is returning to your life, real peace, the kind you haven't felt in a long time. Your peace was disrupted, and you didn't fully understand why. You couldn't figure out what you did to deserve the chaos. But you're going to be shocked when you find out who was behind it. Because some of you have enemies you don't even know. People whose entire world is disrupted by your existence, and you don't even know them like that. Especially those of you with any visibility. You have no idea who's watching, who's tracking, who's coordinating against you in group chats you'll never see. Some person knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody you went to school with years ago. Your name came up, jealousy took root, and this person started working against you, speaking negatively, blocking opportunities, spreading lies, and you had no idea. But the massive turn of events is about to expose all of it. The shadow players are about to be revealed. The people working in darkness are about to be dragged into the light. Whatever this brings, it wipes your slate clean. Fresh start, clean slate, new beginning. Your reputation is being restored right now as we speak. Everything people tried to tarnish is being polished. Everything people tried to destroy is being rebuilt. Some of you were blamed for things you didn't do, accused of actions you never took, stuck in limbo, always under suspicion, always questioned, always doubted. But this fresh start changes everything. You're being cleared, exonerated, vindicated, and you didn't even have to fight for it. The truth is fighting for itself. You had to take a leap of faith to stand firm, even when people pressured you to just admit to something you didn't do. You know that pressure, when the mob is forming, when it feels like the easiest thing would be to just give in. But you didn't fold, you held your ground, even when it cost you relationships, even when it cost you opportunities, even when it cost you your reputation. You refused to lie just to make people comfortable, and now you're being set free. The invisible chains are breaking. The false accusations are being exposed. Some of you have been the scapegoat your whole life, always blamed, always taking accountability for everyone else's mistakes. That pattern is being broken right now. Those roots are being pulled up. Things that have plagued you for years are being removed. Generational cycles are ending with you. If you've had anxiety, heart palpitations, that tightness in your chest, this is where it began. From always being blamed, always having this fear hanging over you that someone's going to accuse you of something, you became the scapegoat for everything. So even when something goes wrong that you had nothing to do with, you get nervous. Multiple people knock something over on one side of the room. You're on the other side, but you know you're getting blamed anyway. This pulls up years of shame, anxiety, stress, things that have weighed you down, things that made your chest cave in, made it hard to breathe, made you feel like you're drowning. But you're about to experience a whole new beginning. Maybe for the first time in your entire life, you're going to feel real peace, real relief, the kind you've never felt before. If this touched your heart and mind, hype this video so more chosen ones can receive this message. Behind the scenes, there's a brand new beginning forming. This shift is changing the entire dynamic of power. Someone was chasing you with a weapon, threw it, missed, now you're holding it. That's the reversal happening. People were coming to destroy you. Now those same people are facing consequences. The weapon created for your destruction is being turned back. The trap set for you is catching your trappers. The pit dug for you is swallowing your enemies. You now have choices, options, different paths. The power is in your hands. You could tell your story, share your testimony, help others going through what you went through, write the book, create the content, build the platform, or handle things legally, file the lawsuits, build the cases, pursue justice through proper channels. The bat is in your hands now. What are you going to do with it? Let me tell you about patience. When you're working with divine forces, you learn to wait. The best outcomes come when you're still. You couldn't prove what was happening. You couldn't make announcements without looking unstable, so you had to wait. Be patient. Let go and let the divine work. But some of you were preparing during this time, stacking, building files, collecting evidence quietly, stacking money to leave toxic situations, saving in secret to walk away from that job, that relationship, that environment draining you. The patience and preparation are about to pay off massively. You've been investing in yourself, in your peace, in staying calm when everything around you was chaos, in staying collected when people tried to shake you, in standing firm when the world pressured you to move, even when it was hard, even when the storm intensified. You stayed standing, kept your peace, held your truth. Think about if you had folded, admitted to something you didn't do. Then when the truth came out, you'd look like a liar either way. But because you stood firm, because you never changed your story, when this evidence surfaces, you can stand with integrity. You can say, I told you from the beginning. I never wavered. I never changed. I never lied. With this turnaround comes separation. Some relationships are ending. Some unions are breaking. And some of you have been preparing for this, saving to leave, planning your exit, getting ready to walk away. Could be romantic, could be family, could be friendships that ran their course. Not everything survives this transition. Not everyone comes with you into this new season. Someone might say, but we're family. And you realize family doesn't mean accepting abuse, doesn't mean tolerating toxicity, doesn't mean sacrificing your peace for someone else's comfort. Someone might say, we've been friends for years, and you understand longevity doesn't equal loyalty. Time doesn't guarantee trust. History doesn't obligate you to a future with someone harming you. Those shadow players who get exposed, some are people you trusted, people you loved, people you never suspected. When you find out who was really working against you, part of you will be shocked, but another part will say that makes sense. You'll start remembering times you shared plans and everything fell apart, opportunities that vanished after certain conversations, doors that closed after you confided in certain people. It's going to click. The puzzle pieces will come together. You'll see the pattern you missed. You'll understand why things happened the way things happened. What people thought was hidden wasn't. Everything was recorded. Every secret conversation, every hidden plot, every whispered conspiracy, all documented by forces people don't believe in. Through all this warfare, you're becoming someone new, sharper, more astute, someone who doesn't tolerate nonsense. People can't lie to you now, can't manipulate you, can't gaslight you. You know the game. You understand the patterns. You see through the masks. You thought you were just being naive, just being hopeful, just being trusting. The whole time you were being trained, refined, learning to see. People looked at you and thought you were foolish, gullible, weak. Nobody had any idea you were being upgraded. From innocence to wisdom, from vulnerability to strength, from victim to victor. You started as someone who believed the best in people. Now you're someone who sees people clearly. You began vulnerable. You're ending fortified. You entered as the fool. You're exiting as royalty. Some of you have been asking why. Why did the divine allow these people to hurt you? Why did you have to go through that betrayal, that disappointment, that humiliation? Because you were being prepared. The divine was showing you how people operate so you can protect yourself, teaching you how to move so nobody can trap you, training you to discern so nobody can deceive you. People are going to be confused by your turnaround. How did things flip so dramatically? How did you survive when everyone was against you? How did you stand strong when the mob came? How did you keep your sanity when everyone called you crazy? Those who attacked will be shocked by your comeback. Those who worked against you will be confused by your restoration. That's the mystery. Some people don't believe in the spiritual dimensions where everything is recorded. Some people don't acknowledge divine forces that see all and know all. Some people think if humans didn't witness it, it didn't happen. That belief is wrong. For some of you, you're seeing behind the veil now. The divine is giving you downloads, information you couldn't have known naturally. Your intuition is leading you to evidence. Your discernment is directing you to truth. This is your spiritual sight activating, And this is the game changer. Your discernment has sharpened to a level where nothing gets past you anymore. Nobody can deceive you. Nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can shake you. There's a massive shift happening in your ability to say no, to set boundaries, to protect your energy, to guard your peace. Soon, something announces itself. Royal energy, sharp, astute, no nonsense. You can't lie to this person. You're not manipulating this person. This person knows the game, created the game, runs the game. This is who you became because of the circumstances, because of the situation. These people have been operating with confidence, with arrogance, thinking tracks were covered, thinking coordination was invisible, having signals, code words, secret meetings, private channels where your downfall was planned, tasks were divided. One person handled the rumors, another person blocked your opportunities. Someone else played the role of the fake friend who stayed close to gather information. A whole system, a whole operation, and the assumption was that it was foolproof. When you operate in darkness, you leave a residue, an energy signature, a trail that spiritual forces can track even when human eyes can't see it. Every lie told created a ripple, every plot hatched left an imprint, every scheme executed was documented in realms people don't believe exist, and now those realms are communicating with this one. The spiritual is manifesting in the physical. The invisible is becoming visible, the hidden is being revealed, and it's not just one piece of evidence, it's multiple, from different sources, different angles, different witnesses, all converging at the same time. That's what makes this massive. It's not one person finally believing you, it's a wave of revelation that's undeniable. It's evidence stacking so high that even people who wanted to doubt you can't anymore. It's truth breaking through in so many ways simultaneously that the shadow players can't plug all the leaks. Watch what happens when exposure comes. The confident ones start stammering. The articulate ones can't find words. The ones who always had an answer suddenly go silent because scrambling is happening, trying to figure out how you found out, trying to trace the leak, trying to identify who talked. Recent conversations are being reviewed, messages are being checked, wondering is happening about who can be trusted, because betrayal doesn't just happen to good people, it happens to shadow players too. Sometimes the very people who coordinated turn on each other. Sometimes co-conspirators get nervous and start talking. Sometimes accomplices decide to save themselves, and you get to watch it all unravel. You get to see the panic, the fear, the desperation. After all the times you were made to feel small, after all the times you were made to question yourself, after all the times you were gaslit into thinking you were the problem, now the tables are turning. But here's what separates you. You're not gloating. You're not dancing on anyone's downfall. You're not rubbing anything in anyone's face, not because you're weak, not because you're scared, but because you're elevated. You're operating from a higher frequency now. You're moving with wisdom your enemies don't possess. It's not just revealing who your enemies are, it's revealing who you are, because the contrast is about to be stark. When masks come off, your authenticity shines brighter. When lies get exposed, your truth becomes undeniable. When character gets questioned, yours gets validated. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. People are going to look back at situations differently now. Conversations dismissed will replay in minds with new context. Warnings you gave that were ignored will suddenly make sense. Patterns you pointed out that were denied will become obvious, and the realization will come that you were right all along. This creates a shift in how people see you. You're no longer the dramatic one. You're the discerning one. You're no longer the paranoid one. You're the perceptive one. You're no longer the troublemaker. You're the truth teller. That label change matters because it affects how people receive you moving forward. Doors that were closed because of lies about you are about to reopen. Opportunities that were blocked because of interference are about to resurface. Relationships that were damaged because of manipulation are about to be restored, and it's all happening because the shadow players are being exposed for who they really are. Now here's something critical you need to understand about this massive turn of events. It's not just about anyone getting caught, it's about you getting elevated. The divine doesn't just vindicate you and leave you in the same position. The divine vindicates you and promotes you. The divine clears your name and expands your territory. So while the exposure is happening, pay attention to the new invitations coming your way, the new connections, the new opportunities, the new levels of access, because your vindication is opening doors that your accusers could never open for you. Your truth is creating pathways that lies tried to block. Some of these opportunities will come from unexpected places. People who watched from a distance will step forward. Resources you didn't know existed will become available. Platforms you never had access to will invite you in. And it's all connected to this massive turn of events. The shadow players thought your progress was being stopped, thought your reach was being limited, thought your influence was being contained, but actually your comeback story was being set up. Actually, the contrast that makes your light shine brighter was being created. Actually, the testimony that's going to inspire thousands was being established. Because here's what's about to happen after you're vindicated. Your story is going to reach people who need to hear it. People who are going through what you went through. People who are being gaslit right now. People who are questioning their sanity because everyone around them is lying. Your victory becomes their hope. Your breakthrough becomes their encouragement. Your vindication becomes their faith. And the shadow players, watching will happen as you help the very people who would have been destroyed. Witnessing will occur as you build the very things that were being prevented. Seeing will take place as you thrive in the very spaces you were being banned from. That's the real revenge, not destroying anyone, but succeeding massively in spite of opposition, not tearing anyone down, but building yourself up beyond anyone's reach, not exposing for sport, but walking in truth so undeniable that lies expose themselves. Once the truth starts coming out, it creates momentum. One revelation leads to another. One person speaking up gives courage to others. One piece of evidence surfaces, and suddenly more evidence appears. It's like pulling a thread on a sweater. Once it starts unraveling, the whole thing comes apart. That's what's happening to the web of lies right now. One connection is breaking and the whole structure is collapsing. One person is talking and the whole conspiracy is falling apart. And you're not even the one pulling the thread. You're not the one making it happen. You're watching the divine orchestrate it. You're witnessing justice work itself out. You're seeing truth do what truth does when it's finally given space to breathe. And here's what's beautiful about divine timing. It's precise. It's not too early where people aren't ready to receive it. It's not too late where the damage is permanent. It's exactly when it needs to be. When the most people will see it. When the most impact will be made. When the most healing can happen. You couldn't have orchestrated this timing on your own. You couldn't have coordinated this exposure yourself. Because if you had done it in your timing, it would have been messy. It would have been emotional. It would have been reactionary. But because you waited, because you trusted, because you let the divine handle it, it's clean, it's powerful, it's undeniable. The shadow players are learning a hard lesson right now. You can't fight someone who has heaven backing them. You can't defeat someone who has truth on their side. You can't destroy someone who's protected by forces you don't even believe in. The assumption was that this was just human politics, just social dynamics, just power plays. The reality wasn't understood. Someone anointed was being touched, someone assigned, someone destined, and when you touch the anointed, you don't just face human consequences, you face divine consequences. You don't just deal with earthly justice, you deal with spiritual justice, and spiritual justice is thorough. It exposes not just what you did, but why you did it, not just your actions, but your intentions, not just your schemes, but your heart. And that's the level of exposure coming for these shadow players. Not just deeds being revealed, but motives being uncovered. People are going to understand it wasn't just jealousy, it was deep-rooted insecurity. It wasn't just competition, it was fear of your potential. It wasn't just dislike, it was recognition of something in you that others knew they didn't have, and that recognition will shift how people view the whole situation, because when motives get exposed, sympathy evaporates. When people understand the shadow players weren't hurt or defending themselves, but actively plotting destruction, the narrative changes. When it becomes clear this wasn't a misunderstanding, but a calculated attack, positions shift, and you stand vindicated, not just legally or socially, but spiritually and emotionally. You stand cleared, not just in reputation, but in character. You stand validated, not just by evidence, but by divine intervention. Your kindness was mistaken for weakness. Your patience was mistaken for permission. Your silence was mistaken for defeat. Every single thing about you was misread, and that misreading is about to cost everything that was worked to build. Because while plotting was happening against you, you were busy building. While attacks were being coordinated, you were developing skills. While lies were being spread, you were establishing credibility. So much focus was placed on bringing you down that nobody noticed you were rising anyway. And now you're at a level that can't be reached. Now you have influence that can't be touched. Now you have protection that can't be penetrated. The window of opportunity to stop you has closed. The moment to prevent your rise has passed. The chance to contain you has expired. This is what happens when you mess with divine timing, when you interfere with someone's destiny, when you fight against an assignment that's bigger than you. You don't just fail. You get exposed in the process. You don't just lose. You reveal your true character to everyone watching. The shadow players are about to become examples, not because you're making anyone examples, but because the universe is using this story to teach a lesson. Don't touch what doesn't belong to you. Don't interfere with journeys you don't understand. Don't attack people who carry assignments you can't comprehend. And the lesson won't just be for your enemies, it's for everyone watching, everyone who's been sitting on the fence, everyone who's been quietly supporting the shadow players, everyone who's been benefiting from your downfall. Everyone is about to see what happens when you align with lies instead of truth. Some people are going to distance themselves quickly. Suddenly remembering won't happen about being part of the mob. Suddenly claims will come that you were always believed. Suddenly personal history will be rewritten, and you're going to have to decide who gets grace and who gets boundaries. Not everyone who returns deserves access. Not everyone who apologizes deserves reconciliation. Not everyone who admits being wrong deserves restoration to a previous position in your life. You get to decide that now. You hold that power, you control that narrative, and this is where your growth shows, because the old you would have accepted anyone back. The old you would have been so grateful for validation that anyone could return. The old you would have prioritized being liked over being respected. But you're not the old you anymore. You've been refined, strengthened, matured. You know your worth now. You understand your value. You recognize your power. And you're not giving access to people who can't honor what you carry. You're not opening doors to people who will contaminate what you're building. You're not welcoming back people who will repeat the same patterns. This discernment is part of your massive turnaround, because it's not just about external circumstances changing, it's about internal transformation being complete. It's about you stepping fully into who you were always meant to be. The shadow players exposed themselves, but also exposed you to your own strength. Character was revealed on all sides. The world saw who your enemies are, but the world also saw who you are, and the contrast is undeniable. And now everyone else knows too. The game just changed, and now you know it. The baseball bat you were running from, it's in your hands now. The power that was chasing you, it belongs to you now. The authority that was hunting you, it's backing you now. You're not the one being chased anymore. You're not running anymore. You're not hiding 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 anymore. You're not. You transformed in that tight corner. You became the force that couldn't be handled, and now your enemies are the ones scrambling, the ones confused, the ones running. Your name is being cleared in rooms you've never been in. Conversations are happening about you in spaces you don't have access to, and the tone has completely shifted. People who never met you are hearing about what happened, about how you stood firm, about how the truth came out, about how you were vindicated. Then your story is becoming a reference point, a standard, a reminder that truth always surfaces eventually. This is creating opportunities you didn't even know to ask for. Connections are forming, networks are opening, doors are unlocking, because your character has been proven under fire. Your integrity has been tested and validated. Your strength has been demonstrated in real time. You're not just being restored to where you were before the attacks. You're being positioned beyond that. The elevation happening now is taking you to places you couldn't have reached without going through what you went through. You carry a different kind of authority now. It's not positional authority. It's not title-based authority. It's the authority that comes from surviving what should have destroyed you, from standing when everyone said you should fall, from maintaining your truth when lying would have been easier. People respect that. Even people who don't like you respect that. Because everybody knows what it takes to stand alone. Everybody understands the courage required to hold your ground when the mob comes. And you did it. Not perfectly, not without moments of doubt, but you did it. And that authority opens doors that credentials can't open. It creates influence that titles can't create. It establishes credibility that degrees can't establish, because you've been tested in the fire and you came out refined. So pay attention to what you're building in this season. Because you're not just rebuilding what was torn down, you're building something completely new, something stronger, something that can't be shaken the way the old structure was shaken. You're building with wisdom now, with discernment, with boundaries, with clarity about who gets access and who doesn't, with understanding about what you'll tolerate and what you won't, with knowledge about red flags you'll never ignore again. The foundation you're laying right now is solid, it's tested, it's proven, and what you build on this foundation will last because it's built on truth, on authenticity, on lessons learned through fire, on wisdom gained through warfare, and your testimony is becoming a weapon, not a weapon against people, but a weapon against the lies that keep others trapped, against the gaslighting that makes people question their sanity, against the manipulation that makes people doubt their truth. When you share what you've been through, you're not just telling a story, you're breaking chains, you're opening prison doors, you're setting captives free, because someone needs to hear that they're not crazy. Someone needs to know that their intuition was right. Someone needs to understand that vindication is coming for them too. Your massive and sudden turn of events isn't just for you, it's for everyone watching, everyone hoping, everyone believing that truth will eventually prevail. You're the proof that it does. You're the evidence that justice comes. You're the demonstration that the divine doesn't abandon those who stand in truth. This is your massive and sudden turn of events. Massive because it touches every area people tried to damage. Sudden because it happens faster than anyone expected. turn of events because the hunters became the hunted, the accusers became the accused, the judges became the judged. Stand in your power, stand in your truth, stand in your calling. The shadow players are exposed. Their time is up. Your time is now. Everything is changing, massively, suddenly, completely.